At the end of the day, I choose you.
Hi, welcome to Adoption Now. I'm your host, April Fallon, and I'm here with my husband, Noah. Thank you for joining the show.
Thanks for having me.
It's really exciting to be on video. So if you're listening to this as a regular podcast, we want to let you know you can scoot on over to YouTube and you can actually see us. And today is a huge day. We are excited about telling adoption stories, but today we are telling very special adoption stories. That's not only us telling stories, but we brought our children on, and they are really excited to talk to all of you and tell you what Adoption Now means to them. We've just gone through National Adoption Month. We've seen families bring home their children and finalize, and it's an exciting time. And we're happy about what's going on with Adoption Now and our growth. And I'm just happy to have you here.
I'm happy to be here.
Yeah.
I can't believe this. This
I
is
know.
great.
It's really exciting. And we keep kind of bringing on the kids, but this time they're older. And so let's introduce them.
All right.
All right. We have AJ here, AJ and Lily. AJ is 14. Lily is 11. And then we have Vivy and Maliyah. Vivy is 9 and Maliyah is 7. Welcome to the show, guys.
Hi. Thank you for having us.
Oh, you're welcome. We're excited to ask you some questions and talk to you guys about adoption. People want to know, what do you guys think about Adoption Now?
Well, Adoption Now is where you're not afraid to tell your adoption stories, where it's like a place where you're like, feel at home and where you're safe to tell anything.
I love that. What about you, Lily?
Adoption Now to me is where you can come in and tell your stories and be thankful for adoption.
What about you, Viv? We'll give her a second to think.
I think about Adoption Now is where people feel loved.
Yeah, people feel loved. Do you have anything, Maliyah? What do you think?
I think about Adoption Now is where you're safe.
Yeah, I love that.
Scared.
Yeah, where you're not scared. You know, we did something really special that we told people about a couple weeks ago, and that is when we went to your school, right? What did your friends think about Adoption Now and our culture of adoption?
Well, my friend was so excited to see me there, and she loves Adoption Now, and we were playing a lot of games together.
Yeah, we were playing games, and did it open the conversation where people started talking about adoption?
Yes.
Was that cool?
Yeah.
How did that make you guys feel? And AJ, I know that you're not in elementary school, but AJ was there. He showed up. How did your brother show up for you guys?
He was the mascot.
He was the mascot. What kind of mascot?
A bear.
He was a bear. The Adoption Now bear. AJ, talk about that a little bit.
Well, I was in a bear mascot costume for 3 hours, and it was boiling hot in there, at least 110 degrees. It was worth it though for the kids. It was worth it. I got a lot of hugs.
It was great because we knew that we were going to do something, and we had a table set up, and April and the girls had worked on all this stuff, and AJ came to us and said, "We need a mascot." And we're like, maybe. I am telling you that mascot brought it so many kids, and it made the conversation so easy, right, girls? Like, it was something where your friends could come to you, and if they felt nervous or they weren't really sure, they'd go to
The mascot.
bear.
Yep. You know what? It was really cool to see you guys excited about the adoption of culture. And we talked a little bit about this before, but their school was doing a huge thing on diversity and cultures. And sometimes that can be hard when you're in an adoptive family. You're not exactly sure what you want to represent. What do you want to talk about? And we came up with the idea to talk about a culture of adoption. And I loved it because your teachers got involved. What did your teacher do for you, Maliyah, to help you feel more comfortable?
She was making me comfortable because
Do you remember what she let Vivy do? What did Vivy do?
she helped me with my launch project.
Yeah, you got to go down and help Maliyah if she felt nervous talking about adoption, you helped her.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if you remember, but when you were talking about your culture when you were in second grade, Lily went down to help you. Do you remember that when you were so nervous to talk to the class?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I love that you guys support each other. Let's talk about your adoptions. How does it make you feel that you're adopted, and do people ask you questions?
Yes. People ask like, is this your real sister? Or like, I don't believe that you're adopted. 'Cause people think, oh, is this your friend? Or whatever.
And how does that make you feel?
That makes me feel like kind of sad.
But you know what? You get the opportunity to explain what adoption is, right? That you are adopted, but you don't necessarily look alike, but you're from the same family. How do you think kids respond to that?
Kids are like shocked
Mm-hmm.
and they're like, oh.
Do some kids think it's cool?
Yeah.
They do?
Yeah.
What do they say?
Like, oh, wow, that is super cool.
That's awesome. Okay, AJ, I know you're dying to say something.
So I haven't only a few times when they see me with you, they come up, are you adopted? And I'm like, yeah, and they're like, really? And then sometimes most of the time they're like, I'm adopted as well, and that really clicks sometimes.
Oh, that's cool.
But no one has really been coming up to me unless a conversation starts about I guess adoption or biological siblings or whatever. And that starts conversation. We were like, are you adopted? Are you? And we start talking, having conversation about it.
Do you have other friends that are adopted?
Yeah.
You do? You guys do?
Yeah.
At your school?
Yeah.
And do you talk about it with each other?
Yeah.
Sometimes?
Yes, sometimes. And her name's Alita.
Oh, cool. AJ, you were saying that sometimes people don't know you're adopted because they only see one of us, right? If they only see dad, then they're like, oh.
Oh my gosh. Sometimes they're they don't really think that I'm adopted sometimes until they see the both of you. But sometimes it makes sense where my personality comes from each of you.
Yeah. I love that so much because so many people will say to us, AJ is exactly like you. The same smile, you have the same personality. And I think for us that every one of you came into our family and not only changed us, but represent part of us too. You know, that you learn our traits, our technique, you learn how we talk, you act like us. And people go, oh my goodness, the kids made your face. They look like you, right? That's what happens in a family is that we all kind of tend to look like each other and resemble each other. And you don't have to be biological.
That's right. And every kid has certain things that are very instinctual, but then we look at you like, Maliyah, you are my twin, right? In our personalities, right? So sometimes we get a little nervous, but sometimes we feel really confident. We love to perform and we love to try new things, right? And that's what's
you love to perform, but then both of you are not doing it in front of people.
That's right.
Both of you are so talented. And then I say, go do that thing for everyone. And both of you are like the frog, the frog that talks. But then when people are around, it never talks. You know that cartoon?
Oh, yeah. Oh,
it's like you guys.
When I was in gymnastics, I did not like to do
You did not want to perform.
And everybody in my school think Vivy and me are twins, but we're not.
That's another thing too.
Yes.
Is you guys look like twins.
I get them mixed up
We
all
have
the
the same
time.
hair.
Now we do.
We-
They look
we
exactly
have the
alike, but
same
you guys are
skin
2
tone.
years apart. But you act alike. You look alike. You guys like to wear matching outfits.
Like we are right now.
Yes, your hair. You like your hair to be alike. I know. There's so many things that you guys choose to connect on, right? I mean, Maliyah and Lily are really close, right? And you guys like to do really similar things. And Maliyah and Vivy are really close. And also, we laugh because there's a creative part of our family that definitely is with Lily and AJ and I. We are the creative, more emotional ones of our
Yes.
family. And then there's a side to Dad and Maliyah and Vivy that are very logical. Not that you're not creative, you're creative, but you are into building the sets or creating the environment, as we are more into writing and performing, right? So we learned, and because we had a very awesome lady come into our family and kind of map out our family and how we function and our strengths, our weaknesses, all of these things are what normal families do in general, right? And I think sometimes people are like, oh, you're an adoptive family. Oh my gosh, like, how do you guys act and what do you do? We act like a normal family. Right? Same thing. You guys get in trouble for things, right? We have expectations on you, and you guys are your own individual people as well. AJ, do you have anything you want to share about just Adoption Now and where you want it to go?
Well, I do really want Adoption Now kids to grow like really big, and so we can get like more families and kids into the adoption community.
Tell us why you love Adoption Now kids. That's your idea. Right? Adoption Now kids and mascots and reaching the adopted kids, not just talking to the parents, not just talking to birth families, but really reaching children.
Because the kids also have like their side of the story, and like sometimes like when the kids start like clicking with like the Adoption Now or like with like an activity, the parents start like getting drawn to that too, so we can reach both the kids and the parents.
I think that's awesome. I love that other kids are identifying with their adoption because of you kids, that they came up to you in the booth and said, I'm adopted too. And that you grew your own community within the school. That's something that's really special. Do you guys think that adoption could be something that people think is really special? Yeah?
Yes.
Tell us about that.
I think that people might think it's special because when you tell them you're adopted, they're like, whoa, it's either a connection like I'm adopted too, or like, oh, I didn't know that. That's so cool.
Do you feel that it's special or sometimes do you feel sad?
I feel sad
Yeah, tell us about that.
because people been bullying me in school about my skin color.
Oh, that's really hard. What do you do?
Well, I tell on them, like sometimes I tell them, or like I say, please don't say that.
Does that ever bother you too, Vivy?
No.
You know what? It's because you got stronger. Because when you were younger, you used to say that too, that sometimes it was hard because you had a different skin color than your mom and dad. And it used to make you kind of bummed out and sad. But you got stronger in who you were and in your story. And do you think that Maliyah will do that too?
Yes.
I think so too, because there's two of you. Do you love that you have a sister
Yeah.
in the family that has your color skin?
Yes, because I feel comfortable with her because she's the same skin as me and we are nice to each other so much.
Mm-hmm. What do you think about having this older brother? There's silence. Here's the deal. AJ asked for you guys. He wanted you. I would say that AJ is the one that
He was the
pushed us.
catalyst.
Yes, and kept saying, we need more kids. We need more babies.
Yeah.
And so he dreamed of having you. So remember that when he's being bossy to you. You need to say to him, you wanted me.
He is so bossy.
He is so bossy. He is definitely the older child, getting everybody in line for sure.
I do feel like when I adopted, it's like I don't really feel sad, but some funny things happen. Like I was like at basketball camp one time, and you guys came to pick me up, and Andre Miller was there to say hi.
Oh my gosh, this is a great story.
He was saying hi to me, and I was like, we were like at basketball practice with his kid for a little bit. But once it was time to leave, some kids and grown-ups came up to me. Hey, are those your drivers?
Yeah. So Andre Miller played for the Denver Nuggets, and we happened to meet him, and he had a story about adoption because his mom was a foster mother. And so he connected with our family, and we became friends with him. And when we came to Arizona, he has a child out here. So he was visiting and he said, I want to go see AJ play. So Andre Miller comes to just a random gym to watch AJ, and people recognized him. Oh my gosh. Oh, this must be Andre's son. And then Noah and I show up and they're like, oh, and that must be their drivers. Oh, it was such a funny story. We're like, I mean, technically we are his drivers.
Technically. I love the resilience, though, that our kids show in that. And I think that is so incredible that the four of you have really built up a lot of resilience, because it is hard, right? And there are things that mom and dad don't understand because we don't have the same skin color that you do. But we are continuing to build confidence, and the amount of resilience. Do you know what that means? Right? The ability to rise above.
Bounce, right?
That's
Bounce
right.
back. That also means resilience, that you might face something hard, but you bounce back. You might feel a disappointment, but you bounce back, right? And it's not bad to feel sad. Sadness is not a bad feeling. It's important to feel all the emotions. It's important to feel certain things because they tell you what you think about them and you can talk about it, right? And then you can realize that we all love you. You're in a place, like you said, of love and of safety to feel those things and to explore those feelings, right? That's what adoption is really about, and what Adoption Now wants to say to the community is that it's okay to talk about hard things. I want to share a story of resilience, and one of my favorite stories about all of you kids. And that's when you're always thinking I'm going to tell a funny story, and this one's not funny.
I know, but
It's serious.
It's interesting.
It's true. When Maliyah was little, do you remember when she went to the YMCA and that little kid was mean to her? Remember? And she was crying so hard, and she came home and the little girl had said mean things to you. And I just remember that you came home, you were like holding, Vivy was like holding her while she was crying. Lily was coming up to me and telling me the whole story. And AJ was like, turn the car around, drive us back. Like he was going to go and make a statement, and that all of you hugged her and loved her. And I know that in every moment that you guys have, where you have those moments where it's really disappointing, things are hard, you get injured, there's disappointments, you guys rally around each other and really deeply love each other. And you know that AJ, even though he gives you a hard time, he has your back. He has showed up for you. He went to Vivy's classroom. Do you remember that when you were in kindergarten? And changed like the whole classroom, loved AJ because you were having a hard time, and he came and talked to the kids. And he is there for you. You know, Lily, she would have your back. If any of the girls were being mean to you at school, she would be there. And you two, well, I'll tell you what, we need to just ask
mess.
the neighbor boy
That's
if
right.
you two will defend each other, right? Vivy got right up in the neighbor's face. We won't tell the whole details because I can tell you're like, don't share that story. But you guys support each other. And that's what's really important. You don't have to be blood related to love and support each other. You don't have to be all the same color to be a family, right?
Correct.
And you can be out there and let people know that this is something that's really special. And when we come to a hard thing, we talk about it, we work on it. Okay, let's talk about your favorite memory from Adoption Now and all the things that we've done. I mean, we've been doing this for 8 years.
I know. Unbelievable, right?
Right. So I'll start. My favorite is when we took Adoption Now to the Justice Run and we dressed up as unicorns. Remember that? That we were saying adoption is as special as a unicorn. And Dad, remember Dad?
He was in that unicorn.
They don't remember me because they didn't recognize me, huh?
And they took a video of the race, and everybody's like, "Oh, the runners!" But all everybody could watch was Dad in the unicorn costume. It was a blow up one, and so he was like bouncing all around. It was so funny. Or remember the time that we went and we said that we were superheroes? We all dressed like, and Dad was Thor.
Oh yeah.
And you were Hulk. She-Hulk before it was even a thing.
Yeah, and we were telling everybody like we are strong as superheroes. I love that our family loves to dress up. What are we going to be this Halloween?
Bluey.
Bluey family.
Was I little?
Yeah. What?
Was I little?
Yeah, you were just a
You were
baby.
so little. Do you guys have a memory that Adoption Now has done that's been fun?
Well, our cultural night.
Cultural night.
Mhm.
Do you,
There was like I don't really remember much of the event, but I remember like there was a bunch of like seats in our house, and there was like the Adoption Now logo. I forgot what we were doing, but that was really fun because I got to hang out like with all my friends.
we had Adoption Now seats at our house?
Yeah, we had like seats at our house, and remember that?
Oh yeah,
Like-
when we had, I think we had a party.
Yeah, we had,
we
like,
had
a
a bunch
party.
of our friends over that have adopted, which is really cool to get all the family
Mhm.
community together. What about you, Noah?
The outreaches that we've done as a family, I think those are my favorite times.
Oh
Like,
my gosh, the church that called us the missionaries.
yes.
Oh yeah.
But honestly, because we get to see the different unique talents that each one of our kids have, right? And
so
so
true.
as we're getting ready, Lily has this amazing strength to be able to like be very selfless and pick things out for these kids that don't have anything. And then when we're there, Maliyah and AJ are like all personality, and so they're out there, and Vivy is super helpful. And so to be able to bring all of that together as a family is one of my favorite things to see.
I love that too. Do you guys remember that? So we were supporting a church. We met them because they were putting blinds in our house. And we started talking to them about God, and they have this little church in Phoenix, and he invited us to come and help their fundraiser around Christmas time and bring presents. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Well, they introduced us as missionaries, so everybody thought
They
we
really
were
did.
missionaries.
That was-
It was so great though, because we went and we, as Adoption Now nonprofit, we went and we bought hundreds of dollars of presents.
Yeah.
And AJ was like not into it
Nope.
at all. And we were like, come on, this is like important. And we were trying to convince him. And it was like, okay, just leave that and focus on the three girls. They loved it. We brought everything, remember? And then we took it down and we had that big event. And like Noah said, at that time, that was AJ's moment to step out with all the kids. And you remember you were dancing with the
We had
Paw Patrol.
Yeah, first we had Paw Patrol, and then we had, remember before we had like another one? It was like Paw Patrol and something
Yeah,
else.
what were those characters? I just remember that you and Maliyah came out of your shell and you were with the kids and you were handing out presents. But then you two were so good at the back, like getting the presents ready. And it really taught us not only that every one of us has a heart to give and see children happy, but it also taught us to position our children correctly,
Yeah.
right? And not to expect that AJ is going to be in the groundwork, right? He's definitely the front runner, and maybe Maliyah too. But then the other two girls, to force them out into a place out on stage, that's not what they wanted. They wanted to be in the back, right? They wanted to serve, just on the back end. And like it just made me feel like it's really important as a family to understand the roles your kids play and to help them be a part of the team and position them correctly, right? You would do that if we were playing basketball. You wouldn't put, somebody, I almost said a linebacker. That's not right for basketball.
Oh my gosh.
we wouldn't put
Point guard.
we wouldn't put AJ at center.
But you think about that, and I think about that all the time as a team, right? We're always talking about team. And we say
effort.
our last name. We talk about who we are as a family, and we're a team, guys. And sometimes one of the team members shines and the other ones don't, right? We have that conversation a lot, where maybe it's Lily's turn, and it's like, oh, I want it to be my turn. Okay, well, it's not your turn to shine, but we're going to support her in what she's doing. And Lily, you know that when it's your turn or when it's another kid's turn, that you're going to be in the right position to support them too, right?
Yeah.
And do you love being a part of a team?
Yes.
Do you guys feel like your voice is heard? Do you feel like if you had something that you had to say that somebody would listen and hear you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You feel safe to tell people how you're feeling at it, Vivy? You're definitely our shyest one. And you have to dig deep for those feelings, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, so as we end this episode, first of all, I want to say thank you to committing your life to our call and what God wants us to do, and for being such amazing little prayer warriors that for the last 8 years, we've seen some really fun times and really hard times, right? And we've wondered if we're going to go on, or should we do adoption now? And you guys have always said, yes, absolutely. Please keep going. We can't give up. You guys have been encouraging to Dad and I, And we're so thankful for you. But if a kid is listening right now who's adopted, I want you to talk to them. What would you want them to know?
I would want them to know that it's not a bad thing to be adopted. Like, your birth mom or whoever couldn't take care of you, you have been given to someone that can take care of you. And you need to learn to forgive your birth mom, because if they couldn't do it, they couldn't take care of you. So you need to forgive them and be thankful.
I feel like it's an honor to be adopted. It's very special. Like, not all people are adopted. Someday you might want to know why you're adopted, or your parents might sit you down and be like, well, you're adopted, we're not your real parents. And you might feel a little upset at first, but it's really special that you are adopted.
It feels great to be adopted, and I like being adopted. It feels loved to be adopted.
You feel loved?
Yes.
I think the beauty of adoption is that it's a story that continues on. And I have learned so much through all 5 of you, and how incredible that is for me in my life. And it helps me as a dad. It helps me as a husband. It helps me as a businessman. It helps me in all different areas. And I cannot believe that after 8 years, we're still sitting here continuing to press forward. And the 4 of you have really been the foundation of what, for sometimes mom and dad just feel lost. And we have lost faith sometimes. And your faith and your confidence to move forward has been a huge strength for us. And that's something that we haven't had to sit down and explain to you or teach you. That's just the amazing kids that you are.
We love you guys. Thank you for coming on Adoption Now.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, it was fun being here.
Yeah.
We love you, and thank you for listening. Thank you for donating. Thank you for joining Patreon. Thank you for being a part of this community. We want you to know that we are in it to win it with you, and we will see you next episode.
For nearly a decade, Adoption Now has shared inspiring adoption stories. Now, go behind the scenes, enjoy bonus content, and connect with our adoption community. Join us on Patreon at patreon.com/adoptionnow. Or get one-on-one coaching at adoptionnowpodcast.com. If this episode moved you, don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, X, and TikTok. See you next episode.
At the end of the day, I choose you.